good morning everybody. Sunday, May 29, about 9:30 in the morning, 68 degrees Fahrenheit, and we are here on Governor's Island, and I'm with Lisa.
Hello.
So thanks for joining us. It's our first time on Governor's Island, so we just took the ferry over a little while ago, and we're gonna go take a walk and explore.
Yep.
I've never been. Prince Ice is here. Good morning.
Hello. Good evening there, though, I believe.
Yeah. Good evening. Looks like we're already having some buffering, just beginning.
Seems if we have too many people. Good morning.
Florida, enjoy Memorial Day weekend festivities, including those incredibly loud flyovers from those jets. That was pretty cool. Really bad connection. If you see any buffering, apologies. Hopefully we'll keep moving and hopefully the connection will. 10:30 p.m. as usual. These views of Lower Manhattan are incredible. Really something. So like I said, so we just made it onto the island a little while. Here's some of this, the Castle Williams direction. Yeah, do you want to say in the chat, we'll keep moving. Hopefully the connection will catch up with us. So they have a arts center here at Governor's Island. Free exhibitions, free workshops, free public programs, so we'll have to Thanks all for bearing with us. I think these views are going to be worth it, so hopefully the connection will get a little stronger as we go.
And on an island that's a little disconnected from the main areas.
It's funny though, because there's so few, we came so early. At least we wouldn't have the congestion issues.
Well, that's what I was saying. It's either there's too many people or, you know, you sort of feel like.
To change my connection, 5G, but I'll try LTE now. I'll try 4G now. We'll see if that makes any difference. Donna, good morning. Hello to Alabama. Hello from New York City. Was trying, we've had so many connection issues lately, which I thought were more, you know, we've been in some busy areas like at the Stranger Things light show. So I thought it was more to do with just how busy the network was, but we'll try different things and hope for the best. So this should be Castle Williams that we're coming up on. Lots of the areas in Lower Manhattan had to do with the defense of New York in its early history. I don't know actually a ton about Castle Williams, but we'll check it out and see if we can. It looks like there's a sign over there. So why don't we check that out and see what we can learn? Big boat.
Wow.
Big boat alert. Awesome. Thank you, Prince Ice, for letting me know. I switched. I was trying 5G today. I've actually not been doing that lately because 4G has been more stable. So we're back on 4G and hope for the best. Gosh, the view of Lower Manhattan is really something.
There goes the
And you have the
Staten Island Ferry.
gorgeous orange Staten Island Ferry. So this says, the same waterways that connected New York City to the world made it vulnerable to naval attack. During the Revolutionary War, British maritime force captured New York. In the early days of independence that followed the war, the federal government constructed a series of forts in the harbor. Their job was to safeguard the port against future attacks. Castle Williams, built from 1807 to 1811, was one of them. New York was never attacked, but the stone fort would serve the nation in changing ways. And obviously, just across the water would be Castle Clinton. Elsa is here from Greece. Hello, Elsa. Very cool. So we have, we're on Governor's Island, facing Manhattan and New Jersey from the south. There's Ellis Island. So just some really gorgeous views right now. We have one of the ferries coming in with many more passengers this time. And the Brooklyn Bridge.
Can I get a shot of Castle Williams
So
behind
some
us?
wonderful views down here. Yeah, let's get some views. Awesome. Well, thanks everybody for being here. This is,
I think if we go around here,
yeah,
we'll
let's
see
go
the
around.
Statue of Liberty.
Sure. Sure. So we'll go around, we'll check out, yeah, we're very close to the Statue of Liberty at this point, so let's go see if we can find her.
There she is.
And like I said, this is my first time. Lisa's visited once before, but not for many years, so we will...
Definitely a lot more to do than the last time I was here.
Yeah, now it's open year-round, so another interesting thing would be to check this out in the winter. So up ahead, Lady Liberty.
Lady Liberty.
Tons and tons of helicopters this morning.
Seems to be our soundtrack now when we do these. There's always a helicopter around.
Right. There's 1, 2, 3 in the frame.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, yeah, the 4G looks a lot better. The connection looks much stronger now. Always experimenting and trying.
And learning.
And learning. Yeah, it's so cool. So why don't I try to zoom in for a second just so we can get a close-up shot, since we're so close. What a view. What a sight. Liz is here. Hello. Aloha. And now that I've got the zoom on, let's just take a quick look at the Freedom Tower and Lower Manhattan. And Ellis Island. Really beautiful. All right, let's see what we can see. Look how thick the walls are. Crazy. Well, we tried to do this during the Stranger Things stream. We did get some new microphones, so now Lisa has her own microphone.
Please let us know if there is an issue. We'll try to fix that right away.
We had some issues last time. Work in progress. I think we figured most of them out. But now you can hear Lisa in all her glory, just as I do. So I guess for a long time, and maybe you can pull up the Wikipedia at some point, that the island was owned obviously by the federal government, then it was given to the state, and then the state eventually gave it to the city. I understand it is now, and they do tons of arts events.
There's a spa, there's an orchard, lots
so
of
there's all
play
sorts of
areas
stuff
for the
going on.
kids, I think.
Very cool.
So when I look up the history, the first date that pops up is 1524.
1524, that's incredible. So what does it
The
say about
Native
1524?
Americans of the Manhattan region.
Lenape?
Exactly. They referred to what is now known as Governor's Island as Pagunk?
Cool.
Nut Island is what that means, because of its plentiful hickory, oak, and chestnut trees.
Wow, that's cool. Bernard is here. Good morning. Hey, good to see you here. Hello from Governor's Island. Prince Ice says, so close but so far away. It's so funny. We got to the ferry terminal, which is a beautiful building, and I wish I could have figured out the timing, but we wanted to give ourselves some wiggle room because we were coming from much farther uptown. But it's in this beautiful building. So if you look up I forget the exact name, but it's like the Maritime something terminal. But if you look up the Governor terminal, it's this beautiful old building. So we got off to this amazing historic start from the very beginning. And then it's like a 4-minute ride, right?
It was so fast.
Yeah. So we sat there for 30 minutes to get to 4 minutes. Yep. I'm not complaining. I love a boat ride in New York City.
And amazing on Sundays and Saturdays and Sundays before noon, it's free.
Yeah, it's totally free. So that was cool. If you've watched our channel before, you probably know I'm a huge proponent of the New York City ferries. You can get these amazing rides for, in this case, free, but sometimes just a few bucks. They don't come with stuff and make your own tour.
Which is what we tend to do.
Yeah.
Whenever we go somewhere.
But it's just for the price, you just can't beat it.
Mm-hmm.
So what are we looking at? So we're on Liberty Promenade.
There's a sign there. No, that's just a road.
Do you want to pull up maybe Google Maps will tell us?
Oh, this is where you can camp.
Yeah, I figured. I was just curious if it had a name or anything.
It's like I don't know if they call it glamping.
I would call this glamping.
Yeah, that's what this is. I looked at this actually as a gift for you once, and I thought,
so
not
glamping,
sure that's Sean's cup of tea.
Glamping, the portmanteau of glamorous camping.
But look at these here. When you walk out of your tent, look at your view. The Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, that's incredible. If anybody's, if you're watching and have easy access, if you want to Google Governor's Island camping and let us know kind of what the prices are, I'd be curious. Those are like pretty large by New York apartment standards. Close. I mean, obviously you could go to it. We went, the last time we went to the Statue of Liberty was a few years ago, and there was so much security.
So these prices are probably peak because it's Memorial Day weekend, but a deluxe double is $479. $9.69
for a night. Wow.
Yes.
$1,000 to go camping.
But
That's so funny. I do see a bar.
yeah, I think this is the main, so you can like gather here, you know, sort of like a, what do you call that in a hotel, you know, like the lobby of a hotel. Yeah.
Low connection again. Coming back though, hopefully. Gregory Kelly is here. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. From Governor's Island.
And Prince Ice says, I'm sad that I missed the Stranger Things stream. It was pretty cool. Well, I think it's all for the best that you might have watched the replay that I did, because we had tremendous technical difficulties that night.
When we say there was an issue with the mic, there was a major issue with the mic that we didn't realize for quite a while. So
yeah,
wasn't the best viewing experience live, unfortunately, but
yeah, it made like a wailing sound for quite a while. Oh, live stream. I think these are the 1,000
oh, probably, maybe.
corrugated metal.
Although they call them tents, I wouldn't call that a tent.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that a tent either.
These might be it, the king tents. These these look like pretty big ones. And maybe
Crazy.
that's a restroom. I have not.
All right, low connection again. Everywhere we go. Wonder what the deal is. Gregor. Unstable. Nice that Action Kids hopped on at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of slowly coming back. So, something.
If we do the perimeter, it's 2.5 miles, I believe it said. Look at that duck.
Another close-up of Lady Liberty. While we wait for the connection to stabilize a little bit. So we're walking the perimeter. Lisa informs us 2.5 miles.
That's right.
And if we see anything particularly that catches our eyes, we'll check it out. Yeah, always have to see what else is going on in New York and support our fellow YouTubers. So that must be the Bayonne, New Jersey cruise port,
Yep.
which is where Royal Caribbean, I think, makes its home.
Makes sense.
Really beautiful views out here,
Love
huh?
the sound of the water.
Yeah. Bernard mentioned
Probably when I had a stop there.
Yeah. 4 years
Probably
ago?
4 years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe three or
Yeah, I
4
mean, we
years
haven't
ago.
done a lot of travel in the last couple of years. One day. One day. Yeah, Gregory, we took the ferry.
It's called the Governor's Island Ferry, fittingly enough.
Yeah, it has a beautiful terminal, and on Saturdays and Sundays before noon, it's free. Although it looked like it's only a few bucks.
Yeah, I think it's
Anyways.
$4 a person.
$1 a minute.
Yeah.
Prince Ice says island ASMR. Yeah, no, Lisa was just saying loves the...
It's great, the water crashing against the rocks.
Yeah, I'll try to, maybe we'll switch sides so I can get some of the... Yeah, no, I'm getting used to this having two mics thing. Never mind. Never mind. So that's one of the New York City ferries, which they just recently added a route right from Staten Island to the west side of Manhattan. So that maybe
We saw one on the west side when we were over there.
Maybe that's it.
Yep.
We'll have to do. I haven't done that route yet. Obviously, there's also the Staten Island ferry, but that leaves from the tip of Manhattan, so slightly different route. My favorite thing is to do a longer New York City ferry ride. It's $2.75 a person, and then once you're on board, you can get a beer, you know, $7 or $8. And on a nice day like today, and maybe we'll do that later, really pleasant way to spend some time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, now that we're down at lower, well, we're in Governor's Island now, but once we hop back to Manhattan, we would be near the Wall Street ferry terminal, which is the main point to pretty much any direction.
Right.
And Gregory, I think it was you who was asking about Rikers. I pointed to the south of Brooklyn. I was mistaken. It's on the north side. The reason I was thinking, I had associated it in my mind with a ferry ride, which it was.
Excuse me.
Towards the Bronx. So, my directions. So that's the, is that the Verrazano?
Probably. I was just looking at that bike, this like Surrey bike thing.
It was a serious bike.
I said, should we have rented that and I'd drive it while you film from there? They have bike rentals on here as well, which is really nice.
That was a very serious bike.
Yep. Lots to do here.
Do you want to see on Google Maps? I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there's many more buildings here than I sort of expected. Very industrial on this side of New Jersey. Gregory Kelly says, how about a tour of Rikers Island? That's a great question. I'm guessing it's invitation only. Let's see if I can get a close-up of this cruise ship in our distance. So, Jersey cruise port, which is where Royal Caribbean docks. Picnic Point. Yeah, me too, Gregory.
please.
So they have lots of picnic tables and chairs set up down here. There were, when we first got on, there are some restaurants. It looked like there was a Mexican, like, taco spot.
And an oyster place.
Oyster bar. There were a couple of coffee shops, although we've discovered not open yet.
Right.
I can see why the bike rental would be pretty useful, huh?
Nice to go around this loop.
Beautiful nature sounds around us. So I checked again. At the moment, one of the longer ferry rides goes to Rockaway Beach, which is a lot of fun. There's supposed to be a Coney Island ferry, and it still says that it will launch sometime in 2022. So I'm hoping that sometime in the summer, because that would...
Probably dead of winter. November, December. Still technically 2022.
Yeah, I haven't seen any definitive dates yet, but they still are saying 2022. So I'm really excited for that one. At the moment, you can take the train to Coney Island, but it's, you know, when it's a nice day, taking the boat would be so much fun. Bernard says, I eat bagels for breakfast. It's my favorite. No kidding.
I could go for a bagel right about now.
Yeah, we got an earlier start today, so not a huge breakfast day today, but we'll get something in a little bit. Gregory Kelly says, is Governor's Island just like a park, or do people live there?
No, nobody lives here. Park, art center, I guess you would say.
Yeah, they're making it more for events and other things.
You can stay here in the camping tents, apparently, but...
Yeah. They looked pretty, I mean, luxury as far as camping goes, but still fairly rustic. So
Yeah,
I don't
you're
know how
still
many
in a tent.
Yeah, I don't know how
Yeah.
many facilities they have at all times. But they do a lot of festivals and things out here as well. See the birds on the
We
roof.
got some seagulls. Seagulls with the pigeons.
Those are big ones.
They're really big. Must be eating those tacos and whatever else they have around here.
So as we make it up the east side of the island, we will be facing Manhattan again in a little bit, and Brooklyn. So we should be getting some really beautiful views up ahead. I'll just peek over the fence here and you can see the Freedom Tower again.
Today is a good hat day. I should have worn a hat.
And Brooklyn on this side. Prince Ice says, I wonder if it would be scary to stay and sleep up there overnight. That's a great question.
I think it would be fun. Maybe a little eerie, you know?
It sends me back to summer camp days. I do like the sound of the water at night.
Mm-hmm.
And those tents were right there.
It would be really beautiful to see the Statue of Liberty lit up.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the fact that you could go to sleep and wake up seeing the Statue of Liberty that close is pretty cool. Have to find some Revolutionary War period ghost stories to tell. Befitting the island. Nut Island, you said.
Mm-hmm.
So when
Because
did
of
it?
all the nut-producing trees on the island.
So when did they switch the name to Governor's Island? And which governors? Is it? Somebody with the name Governor. Altogether different. In Manhattan, there's streets called Governor Lane, but it's Gouveu. It's the old spelling of governor. This says the modern spelling of governor.
Benefits.
So it was the British,
Mm-hmm.
and it was
Yeah,
named
British
after
governor's residence in 1699.
Right. So we've retained a British name.
So in 1750, it became part of New York. Governor's Island was made part of the British territory of New York County under the Montgomery Charter.
That's funny.
Wow, it really goes back quite some history.
That's so funny, though, that it was. Trying to spot the helicopter. I hear it. There it is. Through the trees. Pretty far away.
It's got some Civil War history as well. It no longer was used primarily for physical defense of the harbor,
Uh-huh.
but in the early years of the war, the island was called into service as a recruitment depot and as a barracks for newly recruited soldiers.
So if you were a recruit, you would take the boat over here to
Oh.
get processed or something?
And then it says, as the Civil War wore on, Fort Jay and Castle Williams were transformed into prisoner of war holding facilities for Confederate prisoners.
Wow. Tons of history. So I just paused for a second because there's all this farming going on over here. And I saw some solar panels. And obviously they have all these recycling and maybe composting bins. Wow. This is really cool. There's so much happening here. Had no idea. Earth Matter Compost Learning Center.
It's really community focused now, you know, with the different arts and things for kids, and apparently this.
Yeah, totally. No, it's awesome. So I guess they must try to make the island self-sustaining, which would make sense since it is pretty disconnected. Gregory Kelly says so much history in New York. It's really unbelievable.
It really
And
is.
when you go back and it's like, 400 years plus,
Unbelievable.
really something. Prince Ice says you got to point the sunrise would be awesome. Yeah, we tried to come very early today and the sun was already out. So if you were here in those tents, you'd get that 6 a.m. wake up, huh?
Really, especially today, there's very little clouds. So it is bright and sunny.
Sea Streak boat coming by. Okay, so we haven't stopped at one of these, but I've seen a couple of them as we've walked by. So why don't we take a look at this? Craig Road, named in memory of Lieutenant Colonel J.M. Craig, DSC headquarters. Is that the 16th or the 16th Infantry?
Looks
Killed
like
in action in France, July 21,
1916?
so World War I. The
Or
military.
1918. Can't tell.
Yeah, it might be 18.
Yeah.
Military Order of the World Wars, New York chapter. So definitely a ton of military history from all eras.
Good morning, Lynn.
Lynn, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us on Governor's Island. My first trip, Lisa's first in a few
Probably
years.
about 4 years it's been since I've been
So why
here.
did you come last time? Just to
I met a friend. I met
just to
Jenna
visit?
here, and we walked around.
Just to explore.
There was an art installation she wanted to see.
Oh, check out this sign. Shell. So they take shells from oysters from 75 plus restaurants, recycle them, and then eventually turn them into reefs to create self-sustaining oyster populations. That's awesome. Yeah, I know there's been a ton of work around rebuilding oyster populations. You know, a couple hundred years, that was a huge business here. But I guess more importantly, keeps the water clean. They like clean the water as they go about their life cycles. Wow, that's pretty cool. So it looks like this is another ferry terminal.
Looks like you can do catch and release fishing here as well.
Wow.
Oh, this is the NYC Ferry.
I see no people though, even though the gates are open. Maybe just for the pier.
I see one person over there.
Outdoor films on Governor's Island. Awesome. Lots going on here.
Some city bikes, you can rent some bikes.
Yeah, this would be a good place to do a city bike. You wouldn't feel so...
Yeah, feel safe. And as we were talking in one of our last ones, a
Not
nice
so many.
uninterrupted stretch.
Yeah. I love these old buildings. It reminds me of... there's an island off of San Francisco that's similar to this that had a big military history. I mean, obviously they must have been architected by the same people, you know, same style and so forth. Oh, check out that building. Let's go take a look at that. You see the painting?
Mm-hmm. Like faces all over it.
Yeah. We've spotted faces. Let's go take a look. Gosh, and you have the Freedom Tower peeking out behind it. Do that. Like if you're on your phone or your iPad, auto-completing names. So are all these buildings empty? Now, we keep seeing a handful of people, so they must be...
Some of them have, well, I don't know about the installations and things.
Uses for this stuff. Just gonna walk over and see the sign. Says Chantel Martin on Governor's Island. Commissioned for Governor's Island, Chantel Martin's work transforms both the exterior and interior. Former military chapel built in 1942 with her signature black and white into a flowing district. Visitors are invited to circumnavigate the architecture through image and movement, exchange of ideas. So can we see if it's open?
There's a padlock on it, so I'm going to
So
guess
probably-
not at the moment.
Probably not open at the moment. Let me try to get a good view because the whole building is painted. It's really something.
Looks like my cell phone case.
So 1942, so which makes sense that these would have been World War II. It's like the Presidio. Am I forgetting the name?
There's another good shot of Manhattan from here.
Yes. And see what's here. You know, it's very early in the morning New York time, so understanding not everything is open yet, but we'll see what sorts of things are around here. Look at, I mean, the architecture is so beautiful.
Definitely empty buildings, the ones that are boarded up. A restaurant.
This, like, just this street. Things are obviously in a restaurant with a really nice fire oven. Kiln, you know, that's cool. Could you read the prices? It's a little too far for my eyes.
I don't even see the sign.
On the...
Oh.
Hopefully it'll come back in a second. It didn't actually look... Who knows? Pizza.
I need to stay on a...
Well, let's head toward... Starting to come back.
Hop in.
Curve out. Yeah, still buffering. Of the live stream. Well, bell.
There we go.
There we
There's
go.
the bell sound.
So this is called the parade ground.
Planted.
So what's the story behind that?
It might be part of the open orchard.
Pretty minimal orchard, I would say.
I think there might be another spot. I don't remember.
Awesome. The parade ground near Fort J. Making our way. Searching for... Starting.
Whew.
There's water if you go on it anytime.
Yeah. Nice breeze though, which
Yep.
we definitely enjoy.
Yep.
Oh, now they got the idea, water guns.
Oh, that's so funny. Joker.
They have found the bell.
They have, the children have learned how a bell
Yes.
operates. Okay, this reads the South Battery, and we've got a couple of cannons here. But check out that door. '36 until the first officer 1479 reorganized as the office. Second church.
Another plaque on the rock here.
Yeah. And it looks like they've got a still, so who's thirsty? It looks like
That,
installation of. Yeah, let's take a look at it. Buffer zone, buffer. Read a couple of the things over here. Your children are fine without advice and suggestions.
and our people. This is interesting.
That's so funny, I love it. Buffer. All right, we're coming back with some signal. Oh, there's another coffee shop with a self-sustaining solar-powered roof. Awesome. So I don't know, the signal might have been pretty choppy just where we were, but it was called the yard, play yard, and it looked like you had to.
Children's junkyard, the yard.
Yeah, it looked like you have to sign a waiver to go in there, but it was the sort of place where when I was a kid I would have loved that.
Your parents probably not so much.
Parents would not like that. It says junkyard for kids, so it looked incredibly unsafe, thus the waiver. But I imagine if you have a good imagination, you'd have yourself a good time in there. Might get a few scrapes along the way. So we came back to the water. We seem to have a much better signal over here. So back to the perimeter with a view of Brooklyn. C Street, New York City Ferry. The boats are out. Lots of helicopters. So I have I think tomorrow's video is, and I know we did a live stream on the Hudson River Greenway, but it's another from the Hudson River Greenway because it is Fleet Week. And I wanted to go check out the Intrepid and see what else I could find. I only found one other boat, but tons of veterans were out in their dress uniforms. And there were so many military helicopters, I guess, ferrying people back and forth. So look forward to that. Prince Ice says, I think the buildings blocked 4 or 5G signals. Yeah. You know, I thought, you know, with so few people and it's a fairly flat island that maybe that the signal would be pretty strong. But, you know, it is what it is. Do our best. Gregory says, what are those scaffolding-like structures across the water? That's for shipping. So that's for loading and unloading containers on container ships. I think that's what you're referring to. So you can see lots of the containers that you would see like on the back of a tractor trailer. And those help to load and unload them. So as we walk to the end of this road, we will pause because that is the beautiful Brooklyn Bridge. You can even see the Chrysler building in the distance. You see that? Mm-hmm. And yet another boat. There's boats galore right now. Lisa's going in. Hydration break.
It's time for some water. The sun is hot.
Yeah, it's actually, it said it was going to be a cloudy day. Not very.
That is untrue.
Try to find a good spot to stand here for a second while Lisa gets a drink. So in the very distance, you can see the Chrysler building. So I'm going to try to make it dead center in the frame. It's still fairly small. That is the Chrysler building. And we have the Brooklyn Bridge right in front of us. Followed by the Manhattan Bridge slightly in the distance. So these are the more of the barracks, I suppose. So can you see what it says about World War II? Because that's when a lot of these buildings are from. I know I've said it before, but having a walking and talking Wikipedia is really...
World War II, 1941. Between the two world wars, the island served as an important headquarters for Army ground and air forces. By World War II, the U.S. First Army used it as its headquarters. Wow. Originally established in Europe in 1919, the First Army initiated their planning efforts for the D-Day invasion on Governor's Island.
Really? Wow.
The D-Day invasion led to the American landing in Normandy and the liberation of Europe.
Oh, I had no idea. It was
That's quite a history.
Yeah, I had no, I mean, obviously it's, really nice buildings and so forth.
Look at this one. That, I feel like a general or something would live in there. It's
just funny to contrast the current state of many of these buildings with that history, right? Mm-hmm. You would think we would have kept it in slightly better repair. Wiki Lisa, yes. Kimmel Road, named in memory of Captain Harry L. Kimmel, 1st Battalion, 16th Infantry, killed in action in France, October 9, 1918, rededicated 2017. I was going to say this plaque
is a much newer plaque, yes.
Yeah, World War I Centennial Committee for New York City. Kimmel Road, Captain Harry L. Kimmel. Wow.
I really think we missed out on
The bike?
getting one of those.
Next time.
I could steer us while you...
I'll have to get one of those heavy-duty clamps.
I guess we couldn't call it a walking tour.
No, it would
Have
not
to
be a walking tour.
biking tour.
Wiki Lisa, though.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Oh, that's perfect. Perfect. And for other previews, another walk coming up will be the High Line. I think we've mentioned this before, but we saw recently that throughout the pandemic, only a portion of the High Line, but there's certain connection points at the ends that have been closed, and it just reopened. Let's go check out some of these signs. So look forward this week to a High Line tour. And as you know, I love doing these because we have community and we can chat. But one of the upsides of my recorded videos is no buffering.
Right.
Island Gateway. Look straight ahead to the dock and Buttermilk Channel. For over a century, the protected waters of the channel made this place the major arrival and departure point for the island's army post. Here, new recruits saw their first glimpse of military life. Army prisoners headed for the brig in Castle Williams had their first taste of the hard road ahead. And here, from the early 1800s through World War I's end in 1918, troops and supplies left by ship for battlefields across the nation and around the world. So all sorts of educational things here. Harbor made for business, how the harbor shaped the city. Let's read this one. How the harbor shaped the city. In 1609, Dutch merchants sent explorer Henry Hudson across the Atlantic Ocean to find a new trade route to Asia. Instead, he found the vast harbor around you. It was close to the sea. It was rich in fish and wildlife. Large, deep, and protected, it was ideal for ships. And the Hudson River connected it to the interior of North America. And it has this cool little sign atop. I love that. Beautiful. Well, this is sad. So this is a view of the skyline, how it looked in older times. You can see the Twin Towers. Oh, let me get that in the middle of the frame. View from Brooklyn, 1988. So this is also a New York City ferry. Mm-hmm. Sure, there's a lot of ferry landing points. That's cool. Do we think the New York City ferry is just seasonal? Is that?
Possibly. Although I would think Memorial Day weekend starts the season, but... Oh.
We have some friends.
Up close and personal.
Hello. Look how beautiful they are.
And they're making their quacks.
Francesco Berlini, ciao from Italy. Today rain. Well, it's Memorial Day weekend here in New York City, Sunday. It must be 70 degrees now. It was a little below 70 Fahrenheit when we got here.
Let's see.
I'd say it must be about 70 now.
71.
71 Fahrenheit. And it said it was going to be cloudy, but not very.
There were no clouds when we got here.
Yeah, when we got on the ferry this morning, it was all sun. And so we're exploring Governor's Island, just across the water from Lower Manhattan. My first time, Lisa's second. Tons of history here. I will say every time we see them go by, they really have to bite quite hard to get that thing to move. Maybe
That one has a lot of people in it and a child in the front.
Maybe they need to play with the gearing.
Yeah.
I love stuff like this. Billion oyster projects. So we've seen another example of the environmental rehabilitation that they're
Did
doing.
a volunteer event with New York Harbor School once.
What did you do?
Took kids out on boats. They help kids learn how the water and sailing and in that way for at-risk, underprivileged
Interesting.
schools.
Boating and sailing.
Yeah. So they learn how to
Because it
you know,
requires
take care
teamwork.
of the boat.
and,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yep.
Well, all sorts of things.
Yep.
Independence, teamwork,
Yep.
dealing with adversity, and so on and so
Mm-hmm.
forth. Yeah, I could see it. Gregory Kelly says, these walks are very relaxing for me. Thank you for taking us along. Oh, it's our pleasure. I know how much you enjoy seeing New York City. And it's a way for us to experience it and see it and share it with you guys. It's our pleasure. Svetlana's here from Armenia.
Hello.
Thank you for being here. Okay, so
Lots
when we
of
took
people coming over on the ferry now.
when we took the ferry over,
We were one of maybe 3 people on that top section.
yeah, the top section there might have been 3 or 4 of us, and maybe 20 people total. So you can see as we get closer and closer to the midday,
Well, late morning.
folks are going to come out. No, I just mean that by noon, I bet this place is
Oh
going to
yeah,
be hopping.
yeah. Especially given the holiday weekend.
Yeah. And the smart folks just grab a picnic chair.
I love how many chairs and benches and
You just want to
Really
come,
nice.
you take a free boat ride, if you come early enough at least, but it's only a few. And you just want to the city. Get over how many more people are suddenly arriving.
Yep.
There really were like 20 people on our boat. So we've our start, and we'll see what else we can in the middle of the island that we can look at.
starting to smell the beginnings of food cooking.
I think we
Right?
know what
You
Lisa
smell
might
it?
want for lunch.
It's another plaque.
Moise Argonne Point in honor of the soldiers of the United States First Army who served in, is it Moise? I
Your guess is as good as mine.
Argonne Campaign of World War I, September 26, November 11, 1918. Dedicated August 11, 1958. And there's the ferry coming in for land. And hello from Western Poland. Wow, we've really got folks from all over the world. Thank
Wow,
you for being
thank
here.
you for being with us.
Checking out New York City with us. Let's go see if we can get a really good view of Lower Manhattan again as
At a different vantage point.
it's so beautiful.
Yep, you can hear
They fired up
Moving.
that margarita machine.
moving the tables. More city bikes.
with a
on the, so that's how they get all these.
Yeah, but we'll take a look at the ferry coming in. Coming back at all or no? I just put up the slowly coming back, slowly.
Not great.
Wish. Oh well. All right. We can go up this way. Try to get a view of the ferry. You can see that the bottom level does allow for cars and trucks on this ride. There's so many more people than when we came. So
Hopefully the signal cooperates.
yeah, it's right, walking up the field. Or go straight.
We can loop around.
Okay.
See what's to see.
Whatever you're comfortable with. Thank you folks for bearing with the signals. It's very up or down here. So we're going to head towards Castle William, so we're going to make a left this time and see what we can see. As we check out a little more of the interior. We'll see how the connection holds up as we go into the middle a little bit. We will see what happens.
like airspace over here with all the...
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear, but there's literally helicopters every single direction around us right now.
That's a good view, peeking out over there.
Yeah, and there's one more plaque or way to hop across.
Oh, this is the spa I was talking about, a new wellness experience.
So this reads, Andes Road, named in memory of Second Lieutenant James C. Andes, DSC, killed in action in France, July 13, 1918. Oh, terribly sad. But it is Memorial Day weekend, so we have an opportunity to reflect. Let us know in the chat, especially if you're in the United States, what you're doing for Memorial Day weekend.
I need to cross back over. This leads to the spa, I believe.
Starting to see folks come across with luggage.
They're going to the glamping grounds. We saw people leaving with their luggage.
So at this intersection, we'll hang a left. I see quite a few people, so we'll go check out what's going on over there.
You just think there is? Oh, is that the other ferry?
Look at this little cart.
Electric vehicle of some sort.
Why?
Oh, that's the bike rental tent.
Is it?
That's what all the people...
That's so funny. That's so far the most popular thing we've seen.
Yep.
I mean, I think most things are closed right now just because it's a little early, but looks like they're getting their bike legs underneath them. That's so funny though. Look how many people there are.
It's like we got some buffering, is it? Oh wow, they have like, look at those, look, they look like go-kart things. We haven't seen any of those yet. Low riders.
Must be extra special. Gregory Kelly says, my dad was in the Marine Corps for 40 years.
Wow.
When he was in World War II, Korea and Vietnam. Memorial Day is always a special time to remember him and his service.
Absolutely.
Incredible, Gregory. Thank you for sharing that. 40 years. Wow. We try to walk under the tree line. We'll see how the connection bears, but look how beautiful this boulevard is. pair of the different buildings, some in better than others.
Wow.
See, you can imagine in your mind's eye what this would have looked like once upon a time.
Houses and things that officers would live in at West Point. Visited there before.
Must be the same basic style.
Yep. Really beautiful old, just filled with wood and just feel very solid. Beautiful.
Gregory says Dad enlisted December 10, 1941, 4 days after his 22nd birthday. Just incredible looking. Incredible. Like this would have been like the main building, I guess. Those kids were in the things you were talking about when we were around. Cut.
High strength.
I look at it right here. The amount of money is big.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Having a mic now is that you're going to hear me.
I think let's go take a seat. A bit.
Oh, look at those.
Just kind of sounds annoying.
Sign off, maybe. That's fittingly called Hammock Way.
All right, I think the connection is starting to come back. I wish the connection was working because this area is filled with trees and plants and has the just most beautiful bird sounds. It's really wonderful right here. Island to film, but we do our best. And see as we for walking and for biking. It's really something.
Go to the perimeter and say our goodbyes. Really nice. The family. Lots of different food places around this spot.
Mighty signal, please do your work. It's so tricky. So tricky.
This rock is interesting. Wonder if you can see the Statue of Liberty through it.
Probably. Seems to have gone missing. Gregory, it's our pleasure. Yeah, we've encountered a little bit of network difficulties right here, so I think thankfully we got about an hour and a half in, so not too bad. Try to give you guys some of the water sounds.
Not a bad view to end on, huh?
Yeah, let me get the zoom. But thanks everybody for spending the morning with us here, Governor's Island, right next to the island of Manhattan in New York City, looking at Statue of Liberty, Ellis Island.
Thank you for coming along from all over the world. Really, really amazing. We can connect like this. We really enjoy that.
Absolutely love it. So leave a like, subscribe so you can join our next walks. And we'll see you all next time. Thank you for being here. Have a great day. And if you're in the United States, a nice and reflective Memorial Day and Memorial Day weekend. Take care, everybody.
See you next time. Bye.
See you next time.